you're good to go.
All right. So when it comes time, in probably slightly less than the ideal conditions that we have here, you unpack your MSR kit, being careful especially with the plastic parts. As you can see in the kit, we have the windbreakers, which to light it you don't need, and we have the little Dragonfly stove, and then we have a lighter to light, and the backup lighter, the little flint stick that if this ever runs out or doesn't work, then we have the ability to light it. Your first thing to do is to assemble the stove in a bit of readiness. It springs out pretty rapidly. In fact, it's harder to keep it contained than it is to not have it. So the Dragonfly runs on a couple of different fuels. My favorite by far is white fuel, and I have 2 bottles. I always carry 2 bottles with me, because if you ever spill one without fuel, you cannot get heat, you cannot cook. So I always carry 2 bottles. You start by opening it careful, and we have a great location here. See, we're nicely on the concrete, but normally you will do this at a campsite.
Which should have...
Do not lose this. I typically put it back in the bag, but for purpose of showing, you then put both the little white and the red into the container, and you tighten it. And you tighten it solid, you'll be able to feel. Right? So it's a good tight fit. The bottle typically runs, you lay it on its side, and you can see this goes in, and the recommendation is to use either a lube, or what most people will do is they put a little bit of spittle and you put it around, but not at the tip, just around, so that the brass fitting can go into the container. And then if you look here, you'll see that there's a little clip that you end up hooking the container onto. So you want to make sure that this little thing is set so that you can put it onto the clip once you squeeze this in. And it's a little bit of a fit, but you can see that it fits really tight, and because we used a little bit of spittle, we can get it in. And then it clips in place right here. And this is how you typically, so with the valve up, this is how you typically organize your little stove. While we're here, I'm going to put this in the bag, because it is small and you do not want to lose it, because without it you cannot seal your white fuel back. So then we have 2 valves, the one here and the one here. This is a fine-tune valve. So you typically would start with it closed, and you would start with this one closed. Then you need to pressurize the entire system.
So it's open now, right?
It is closed now.
Okay.
So you pressurize the system, and that's 20 pumps. Start with 20, sometimes it's 25. It varies a little bit with how empty the container is. So then you open this one. So now you have the ability to get fluid in there. And you open this, and you can see that there's fluid that goes in, and it's wet at this point. What you want to do is light that up and leave it lit for a little bit, so that your entire stove gets hot. The stove burns Once it gets hot enough, then it burns by itself when you open this valve again. This is probably a good time to put your guard there. When you open the guard, you can see that there's an opening at the bottom. That goes around here. So it both protects the cooking implement, but it also protects the container.
Cool.
So then now that it's still burning, then the idea is to open this valve. And once you hear it go, the flame goes away, but you can hear and the stove is on. So you don't see a flame, but you can hear it. It's an audible sign. I don't have water in here, but then you cook anything on there that you want. This shield will protect it from the wind, but if you need more, you can add to it. But as you can see, you can put quite a size stove on here, quite a size pot on here, but also a little stove. A little pot will work just fine. Again, I use this size pot to put the stove in to protect it at the bottom of my backpack. To stop it, it's the reverse. You close this one first. It stops. You need to let it cool down. Close this one. Then you let it cool down. Although you can take this off right away, but you let the stove cool down before you put it back into the container. The disassemble is the reverse of the assembly. When you take this off, when you take the final connector off, the pressure is still in there, so expect a little bit of pressure. So you only do that, you remove the final part with the container right side up and being careful not to spill or washing your hands after. So you disconnect this piece. I'll take this off so it's a little bit less noisy. So again, for this part, and you can see a little bit spills because this entire thing is under pressure, right? Even when this is closed. So then, once you're ready, take this and you can hear the pressure being relieved. And immediately, because you do not want to lose this, lift it out carefully. And immediately close it again with the lid that you've carefully kept. This is child-proof, so you have to press until it is a solid seal. You want to seal it well. I keep these containers upright in my backpack, two separate to a pocket so they don't clang together. Because out of the fuel comes your ability to cook food and to create heat, both of which you need. You wait until this is cool to the touch before you put it into its container. So we'll leave that. We won't do that right now. But as part of the kit video that we did earlier, you can see that. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a fun trip.